Back in the late 1990s and early 2000, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise exploded in popularity. From the iconic anime series to the immensely addictive trading card game, it quickly became a cultural phenomenon that captivated fans worldwide. Among the many spin-offs and adaptations came Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, one of the earliest video games to bring this legendary franchise to the PlayStation 1. But does this game still hold up today, or is it merely a nostalgic relic of a bygone era? That's the question we'll dive into. Whether you're a longtime fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or just someone curious about exploring gaming history, let's see if Forbidden Memories is still worth your time in 2025. Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories first released in Japan in 1999, followed by its North American and European releases in 2002. Developed by Konami, the game stood out as a bold attempt to merge the beloved trading card game mechanics with a unique storyline set in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. The gameplay combines card battles with a narrative steeped in ancient Egyptian lore. Players step into the shoes of a mysterious pharaoh, engaging in duels to progress through the story and uncover secrets of the ancient world. While it borrows familiar elements from the trading card game, it takes liberties with the rules to create a simplified and somewhat experimental system. One of the game's highlights is its atmosphere. The visuals, while limited by PS1 technology, convey an epic sense of scale with detailed card designs and cinematic 3D summon animations. The soundtrack adds to this immersion, blending intense battle music with themes evoking the grandeur of ancient Egypt. However, these impressive elements are balanced by a gameplay experience that is less about strategy and more about trial and error, as we'll explore further. One of the most compelling aspects of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories is its unique storyline. Unlike most other Yu-Gi-Oh! Games which stick closely to the modern setting of the card game tournaments, this title transports players to ancient Egypt. You follow the journey of a pharaoh battling to save his kingdom, a setting that seamlessly blends mythology with the dueling mechanics. Familiar characters like Yugi Muto and Seto Kaiba make appearances, providing a sense of continuity with the wider Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. The aesthetics of the game are another major highlight. For its time, the game was visually striking. The 3D summon animations for monsters brought the cards to life in an impressive way, especially on the PlayStation 1 hardware. Watching your Blue Eyes White Dragon roar to life on the screen was an unforgettable moment for many players. The designs of the cards themselves were detailed and faithful to the original artworks, which added an extra layer of excitement for fans of the trading card game. Additionally, the soundtrack deserves a shout-out. The music perfectly complements the ancient Egyptian setting with dramatic and atmospheric themes that make every duel feel like a high-stakes encounter. Even outside of the battles, the background tracks maintain a sense of tension and mystery, immersing players in the world of the game. Finally, the nostalgia factor cannot be ignored. For many, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories was their first exposure to the franchise in video game form. The combination of cinematic presentation, iconic characters, and the thrill of dueling makes it a cherished part of gaming history for longtime fans. However, despite its strengths, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories is far from perfect. One of its most glaring flaws is its overly simplistic gameplay. While the game introduces a novel dueling mechanic, it deviates significantly from the established rules of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. There's no tribute summoning, no detailed card effects, and no clear strategy beyond fusing cards randomly in hopes of creating something stronger. This simplification, while accessible for beginners, can feel frustratingly shallow for experienced players who expect more strategic depth. Another significant drawback is the game's uneven difficulty curve. The early duels are fairly manageable, but as the story progresses, the opponent's decks suddenly become overwhelmingly powerful. This often forces players to grind endlessly for better cards by repeatedly dueling weaker characters, a process that can feel tedious and time-consuming. Without access to rare cards, defeating late-game opponents feels more like a test of patience than skill. The technical limitations of the PS1 hardware also show their age. While the 3D summon animations were impressive back in the day, they can now feel clunky and repetitive. Moreover, the lack of a true multiplayer mode is a missed opportunity. The game only allows for single-player experiences, which limits its replay value compared to other Yu-Gi-Oh! Titles that feature robust multiplayer options. Lastly, The game's reliance on random chance in battles can be frustrating. Winning often comes down to luck rather than strategy, as you're dependent on drawing the right combination of cards at the right time. This randomness undermines the core appeal of the trading card game, where careful planning and decision-making are supposed to be the keys to victory. So, who is Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories really for? This game is undoubtedly a nostalgic gem for fans of the franchise, especially those who grew up during the early 2000s. Its unique storyline, set in ancient Egypt, combined with cinematic summon animations and an evocative soundtrack, makes it an experience worth revisiting, if only for a trip down memory lane. However, for modern players or those new to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, the game's lack of depth and clunky mechanics might feel underwhelming. Compared to contemporary Yu-Gi-Oh! Titles like Legacy of the Duelist or Master Duel, which follow the official card game rules and offer more polished gameplay, Forbidden Memories can seem like a relic of a less refined era. In fairness, the game deserves credit for attempting to merge storytelling and dueling mechanics in a creative way, even if the execution wasn't perfect. But its uneven difficulty, grind-heavy progression, and random battle outcomes make it feel dated when viewed through a modern lens. If you're a longtime fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! And want to experience one of the earliest video game adaptations of the series, this game might still be worth your time. But for anyone seeking a robust and strategic dueling experience, there are much better options available today. In conclusion, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories is a product of its time. An ambitious yet flawed game that tried to bring the magic of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise to the PlayStation 1. Its strengths lie in its nostalgic charm, unique setting, and atmospheric presentation, which continue to appeal to fans of the franchise. However, its outdated mechanics, uneven difficulty, and reliance on grinding prevent it from being a truly timeless classic. If you're revisiting the game as a fan of the series, you'll likely enjoy the trip down memory lane, but don't expect a polished or strategic experience. On the other hand, if you're someone new to Yu-Gi-Oh!, you might want to skip this one and dive into more modern and refined games that truly capture the spirit of the franchise.